Wait, what if everything we thought we knew about Beyonce and Jay-Z was a lie? What if their love story, their empire, their entire image was built on something darker than anyone could imagine? Because what I'm about to expose isn't just about celebrity gossip. It's about alleged connections to Jeffrey Epstein's Island, secret deals made in the shadows, and a network of power that's finally starting to crumble. The internet is on fire right now, and both of them have reportedly fled the country separately. Everybody thought they knew the Beyonce and Jay-Z story. High school sweethearts turned power couple. Started dating around 2001. She was 19, he was 31. They kept it private, got married in 2008, and became American royalty. The end. That was the version everyone repeated for over 2 decades. But now, the Epstein files have dropped. Jay-Z's name is all over them. Beyonce just lost 10 million Instagram followers in days. The NFL unfollowed Jay-Z. Apple Music unfollowed him. Rihanna unfollowed him. And suddenly, the whole narrative is twisting because people are connecting dots that have been hiding in plain sight this entire time. Let me break this down because once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. The Epstein files just got released. We're talking about 3 million pages of documents, over 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. This isn't some small leak. This is everything. And buried in those files is an anonymous woman's testimony. She claims she was abducted and drugged in the late 90s to early 2000s. She alleges she woke up to find Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein in bed with her. The report was filed in 2019, but it's only now seeing the light of day. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Fans online turned into full-blown investigators. They started pulling up old photos, old interviews, old lyrics, and what they found is wild. There are photos of Jay-Z at 26 with Aaliyah at 15, photos of Jay-Z at 27 with Beyonce at 16. These images have been circulating for years, but nobody wanted to connect the dots because we loved the music too much. But think about it. Jay-Z had a pattern, and it wasn't just about dating younger women, it was about access. Access to powerful circles, access to people like Jeffrey Epstein. According to multiple sources, Jay-Z's name appears in the Epstein files not once, but multiple times, and the timeline matches up perfectly with when Beyonce was rising to fame. Online detectives took this to a new level. They started studying flight logs, party guest lists, industry connections. They're comparing dates, locations, career timelines, and folks online swear there's a connection that goes way deeper than anyone realized. Here's what nobody is connecting. What if Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't meet at some industry party or recording studio, like they've always claimed? What if they actually met at Epstein Island? And what if Beyonce wasn't just another victim, but an active participant in a dark operation that helped build both of their careers? I know that sounds insane, but stay with me. Destiny's Child was successful, sure, but the leap from girl group member to global icon doesn't just happen overnight. That requires connections. That requires powerful people investing in you. That requires you offering something in return. Nicki Minaj has been dropping bombs about this for months. She's talked about rituals, she's talked about sacrifices. She's talked about how these people operate in the shadows. And now that she's allegedly untouchable thanks to her connection with Trump, who pardoned Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation, she's saying what everyone else is too scared to say. She straight up said, "Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god." Now, whether you believe in the literal satanic aspect or not, the idea of rituals in Hollywood is well documented. It's about initiation. It's about proving your loyalty. It's about doing something so dark, so irreversible that you can never leave. Now, let's get into the motive, because this is where everything starts clicking. Imagine this scenario. Young Beyonce, maybe 16, 17 years old, is brought to Epstein Island. Maybe she was told it was a networking event. Maybe she was told it would help her career. And there she meets Jay-Z, who's already a known figure in these circles.
Listen to what Beyoncé said about Jay-Z in an old interview. She said, "You taught me how to be a woman. You taught me how to lead. You taught me how to be a friend." Listen to those words again. You taught me how to be a woman. Not you loved me, not you supported me. You taught me, like a mentor, like someone who is training her for a specific role. Here's what I think happened. Beyoncé realized quickly that Epstein Island wasn't just about powerful men, it was about building power for yourself. She saw how these networks operated. She saw who had real influence, and she made a calculated decision. She focused on grabbing the biggest names, music executives, politicians, billionaires, and Jay-Z. He was her ticket to legitimizing it all. They made a deal. She would be his public face, his shield. The world's love for Beyoncé would protect Jay-Z from accountability, and in return, he would give her access to everything: his label, his connections, his empire. Think about it. Why has Jay-Z never been held accountable for anything? Why does he always skate by while others fall? Because Beyoncé is untouchable, and as long as she stands by him, he's untouchable too. But now that protection is crumbling. Let's talk about what a madame actually does in these elite circles. She's not just recruiting, she's managing. She's ensuring that the right people connect with the right people. She's building relationships. She's the glue that holds these dark networks together. And if you look at Beyoncé's career trajectory, something doesn't add up. The connections she made, the doors that opened, the way she went from Destiny's Child to solo superstar to global icon, that kind of trajectory requires something more than talent. Jeffrey Epstein didn't just traffic victims, he trafficked influence. He connected powerful people. He built networks. And Beyoncé and Jay-Z were building their own network at the exact same time. The Epstein files don't just mention Jay-Z once, they paint a picture of a man who was deeply embedded in these circles in the late 90s and early 2000s, the exact same time Beyoncé was rising to fame. You're telling me that in all of Epstein's documentation, in 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images, Beyoncé never appears? Or maybe she does appear, under a different context, not as a victim, but as someone who was working the room. Put all that together, and it looks like the perfect recipe for a deal made in darkness, a deal that would protect them for decades, a deal that's finally starting to unravel.
But here's the part that really hits different. If this theory is correct, then we're not just talking about two celebrities protecting their image. We're talking about real victims, real people who were exploited, abused, and silenced so that an empire could be built. The anonymous woman in the Epstein files who claims she woke up to find Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein in bed with her, that's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's sister. And she's been carrying that trauma for over 2 decades. That's messed up. And if Beyoncé was operating as a madame on that island, then she wasn't just a bystander. She was actively participating in the exploitation. She was helping to facilitate these connections. She was part of the machine. That's not the Beyoncé we know. That's not the woman we've been sold. But what if the real Beyoncé is someone we never knew at all? The leaked testimony shows genuine fear. It shows genuine trauma. And it shows that these networks operated with impunity for years because people like Jay-Z and Beyoncé were protected by their fame, their wealth, and their influence. This isn't just about celebrity gossip. This is about accountability. This is about justice for the people who were hurt along the way. And it gets even crazier when you realize how many other names are connected to this. Pusha T's name is also in the Epstein files. Now, a lot of people are saying Pusha T wasn't big enough in 2006, 2007 to be involved in something like this. But that's exactly the point. Handlers aren't always the biggest names. They're the people who can move in the shadows, the people who won't draw attention. And if Beyoncé was operating as a madame on that island, she would have needed handlers, people who could manage the logistics, people who could keep victims compliant, people who could clean up messes. Is it possible Pusha T was one of those people? Absolutely. Is it possible Jay-Z recruited him specifically for that role? Absolutely. Because here's the thing about these networks. They're built on loyalty.
And the way you build loyalty is by making people complicit. Once you're in, you can't get out, because if you talk, everyone goes down. Let's talk about Jay-Z's lyrics for a second, because 50 Cent has been trolling him hard, but he's also been dropping receipts. In a song from 2006, Jay-Z raps, "I got a young girl, still not quite 21, introduce themselves, oh, you're 19. Jay-Z was 36, turning 37 when that song came out, and he's rapping about dating a 19-year-old. But here's the kicker. He references Stephen King novels in the same song. And if you know Stephen King's work, a lot of it centers around child trauma, loss of innocence, and the battle between good and evil. The lyrics say the scenes that follow screams of horror, classic Stephen King novel. And according to a surface-level search on Google, a lot of Stephen King novels center around child trauma, addiction, the supernatural, and the battle between good and evil. Key themes include coming of age and loss of innocence. Let's go back to the lyrics, because after he referenced the Stephen King novels, he says, "Mom, I don't think you should take someone so advanced in romance. You should just wait." He's literally telling the girl's parents not to worry, that he's been through it and he'll hold her life. That's not romance, that's grooming, that's control. That's the exact same language predators use to isolate their victims from their families. And if this is how Jay-Z talks about a 19-year-old in a public song, imagine what he was doing behind closed doors. Imagine what he was doing on Epstein Island. Jay-Z also referenced leaving CDs in a child's car seat in one of his songs. Why would a grown man be around a child's car seat unless he was in a relationship with someone who had a child, or unless he was grooming someone young enough to still be in one? The patterns are there. The receipts are there. People just don't want to see them because they love the music too much. Meanwhile, fans online have been working like full-blown investigators. They're not just looking at the Epstein files. They're digging into every public appearance, every interview, every photo from the late 90s and early 2000s. And what they're finding is wild. There are photos of Jay-Z with Aaliyah when she was just 15 years old. He was 26. They look comfortable, they look intimate, they look very much not appropriate. People are comparing those photos to photos of Jay-Z with Beyonce when she was 16. Same energy, same dynamic, same uncomfortable power imbalance. And here's what's fascinating. When you look at the timeline, it all lines up. Aaliyah died in 2001. Beyonce's solo career took off in 2003. Jay-Z and Beyonce supposedly started dating around 2000-2001, right when Aaliyah was out of the picture. Now, I'm not saying there's a direct connection there, but the timing is suspicious, and when you add in the Epstein files, the pattern becomes even clearer. Jay-Z had a type, young women, women he could control, women who would be grateful for the access he could provide, and Beyonce fit that mold perfectly. But unlike Aaliyah, Beyonce figured out how to use that dynamic to her advantage. She didn't just become Jay-Z's girlfriend, she became his partner, his equal, his shield. And in doing so, she allegedly became complicit in everything he was doing. Let's keep it real. Everything is speculation until more evidence comes out. But the pieces are there, the connections are there, the timeline is there. And the fact that both of them have reportedly fled the country separately tells you everything you need to know. They're not running together, they're running from each other. And this story is still unfolding with way bigger implications than just one incident. What we're seeing here is how power protects power, how fame shields accountability, how networks of influence operate in the shadows for decades until they finally get exposed. The bigger conversation is about responsibility. When you constantly surround yourself with people like Jeffrey Epstein, when you participate in these circles, when you benefit from these connections, you're not just networking, you're enabling. Jay-Z's and Beyonce's situation is a wild example, but it's also a warning for anybody with power and influence. The more you operate in the shadows, the more you risk everything when the light finally shines. And that light is shining brighter every single day. Nicki Minaj has been relentless about this part. She's been saying for months that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been participating in rituals, in blood sacrifices, in exploitation. And now that she's untouchable, she's not holding back. She said, "When your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. The destruction that's about to come down on them isn't funny." Whether you believe in the literal satanic aspect or not, the metaphor is clear. These people sacrificed others to build their empire, and now that empire is crumbling. The Epstein files are just the beginning. More victims are going to come forward, more evidence is going to surface, more connections are going to be exposed. And when it does, the entire house of cards is going to collapse.
So now we're in 2025. The Epstein files are out. Jay-Z's name is everywhere. Beyonce has lost millions of followers, and both of them have reportedly fled the country separately. This isn't the first time they've run. When Diddy was arrested, they went to Japan. When Diddy was about to be sentenced, they went to Qatar. But this time is different, because this time Beyonce isn't running with Jay-Z, she's running from him. She knows that if she stays tied to him, she goes down too. So she's creating distance. She's positioning herself as the victim. She's making sure that when the final shoe drops, she can say, "I didn't know. I was manipulated. I was young." But the truth? She knew. She was there. She made the deal, and she's been benefiting from it for over 20 years. Multiple sources have confirmed that Jay-Z met with both a criminal defense attorney and a divorce attorney when the Diddy stuff first hit. Beyonce was ready to leave then, but they managed to hold it together, probably because they realized a divorce during the Diddy scandal would draw too much attention. But now it's inevitable. The Epstein files are bigger than Diddy. The allegations are worse. The evidence is more extensive. And Beyonce knows that her only play is to cut Jay-Z loose and save herself. Storm Monroe, one of the most connected gossip insiders in the game, has been saying for months that Beyonce has been in money grab mode. And when you look at the timeline, it's undeniable. Ivy Park clothing line with Adidas, Renaissance album, world tour, movie, hair care line, Cowboy Carter album, perfume line, liquor brand, NFL halftime show, another tour. All of this in just 2 years. Even at her peak, Beyonce never moved like this. She's liquidating. She's building her own empire separate from Jay-Z because she knows the walls are closing in. Mark my words, within the next 6 months, we're going to see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood history, and the narrative will be exactly what Storm Monroe predicted. Their publicist is going to release something. It's going to say, "Oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They've built this beautiful life together, but they're focusing on their individual journeys now." They'll say they grew apart. They'll say they'll always love each other. But the real reason? Jay-Z is going down, and Beyonce refuses to go down with him. Whatever's done in the dark will come to the light, and that light is shining brighter every single day. The Epstein files are just the beginning. More victims are going to come forward. More evidence is going to surface. And when it does, the entire house of cards is going to collapse. Beyonce knows it, Jay-Z knows it, and that's why they're running. But you can't run forever. Not from this. Not from 3 million pages of evidence. Not from 2,000 videos. Not from the truth. Stay locked in, because this story is about to get even crazier. More details are dropping, more clues are surfacing, and reports say more names are about to be exposed. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Beyonce and Jay-Z really met on Epstein Island? And do you think Beyonce was complicit in building their empire on exploitation? Make sure you like the video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update, because we're covering every twist that comes out. I appreciate you for rocking with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, and remember, not everything that glitters is gold.